Green, green.
These drivers put on a great show.
On every type of track.
Driving these cars, banging off of each other.
No, he gets sideways. He's off the racetrack. There he goes, trying to make the pass. If you're a driver trying to get in, you get little opportunities like that. Watch how hard these guys are going to drive.
Checkered flag in the air.
Checker flag there, champion.
Each and every day, hundreds of thousands of people travel the streets of Las Vegas, Nevada. And tonight at Sin City, we're here for stock car racing. And just a few miles north of the Strip, you'll find the beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway Racing Complex. Tonight, we're on the 3/8-mile racetrack called the Bullring. The Star Nursery 200 is coming your way. I'm Ray Dunlap, along with Phil Parsons, and Bernadette Santacola will be in the pits tonight. We're ready to go with race number 7 of 2012. As we look at the points, you see Greg Pursley 17 points behind his teammate, Dylan KWASNIEWSKI. Now let's go trackside and hear from Bernadette.
Guys, it was only 1 year ago that the number 26 car of Greg Pursley was leading the field. But now it's his far younger teammate, the 03 of Dylan KWASNIEWSKI, that is taking up all the spotlight. Race 7 is up for grabs, and it really makes you think it's about one thing: youth versus experience. Let's see who wins.
Ray, let's take a look at what's important to get around this racetrack. You want to be tight enough entering the corner. You want to be on the bottom for the restart. That's awfully important. And cooling, I mean the driver, the brakes, the engines. It's 100 degrees here.
And speaking of cool, how about our most recent winner in the K&N Series? Here's our BioBlast.
Hi, I'm Michael Self, driver for the number 21 Rockwell Watches Golden Gate Meat Company Chevrolet. I'm the most recent winner in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. Looking for a couple more wins this season, see if we can add on a couple more. Hopefully by the end of the season, get our first start in Richard Childress Racing NASCAR Camping World Truck or Nationwide car. I was your 2007 Champ Car Rotax Scholarship winner, one of 7 drivers to go to Portugal representing America in the World Finals. I'm Michael Self, and this is your K&N BioBlast.
How much fun it's been this year to see all the different winners we've had in this series. And one guy who's really been on a roll is our pole sitter.
The stands are full here tonight at the Bullring, all for Dylan KWASNIEWSKI, a local talent who is leading the race. Top of the field. Dylan, you got the pole. Last time you did, you won the race.
Yeah, I mean, we have a great car. The Royal Purple Ford is awesome. And, you know, I don't ever get chills or get nervous before I go out there. So these guys, they started cheering a lot, and it was cool to see these guys at my hometown. So I'm really excited, and I really want to go win this race.
I think he was saying he normally doesn't get chills, but maybe tonight just a little bit of goosebumps.
Just had a birthday 2 days ago. 17 years old now.
We'll set the starting field for tonight's race in the Star Nursery 200 when we come back to Las Vegas. Welcome back to Las Vegas, ready to go racing tonight. It has been an interesting season already, to say the least, and we want to look at our field for tonight's action. On the pole, Dylan KWASNIEWSKI in the Royal Purple Rockstar Ford. Right behind him, Cameron Haley with his best qualifying effort of the year. 5th in points is Eric Holmes back and forth. And Phil, as we look back through the field, 3rd start of the year for Braden Haven.
See, David Mayhew leads off this next page here. 11th starting position for him. Comes in here 3rd in points. Austin Dine, top 10 finishes every single race he's run this season.
4 drivers making their first start tonight here of the season at Las Vegas. I'll tell you, Phil, when you look at that front row, you're talking about a couple of guys that we've talked about in and week out so far here in the 2012 season, as we've got a beautiful night for racing. 0% chance of rain. That's my favorite number.
Yeah, and it's cooled way off, Ray, to 91 degrees, and it feels hotter than that, truthfully.
Absolutely. And as you said, I think a great point you made, not only keeping the race cars cool tonight, but keeping your driver cool on the tight confines here at the Bullring. We always see lots of action. Green flag is out. KWASNIEWSKI gets a great jump. We're underway for race number 7 of 2012.
Yeah, Cameron Haley jumps down to the inside, gets in front of Pursley. Pursley gets a little bit loose on the bottom. It allows Eric Holmes to get a little bit of run outside.
No question about it. The bottom of this racetrack, the preferred line, and Pursley right up there with some contact. One car slow down to the inside. Everyone makes a way around, and a great effort tonight for Cameron Haley. Best qualifying of the season, and he was fast in practice all throughout the day.
Yeah, he certainly was. Remember, he made his debut last year as a 15-year-old with a runner-up finish in Montana.
Car's starting to go single file a little bit, but still side by side here as the 22 gets hung on the outside. How long can you run out there? Is there even any grip to stay on the outside?
Well, there's a little bit of grip out there. You definitely want to be on the bottom if you can. You see all these guys fighting for the bottom. Jason Fengel, the 59, that yellow car back there, he was the one on the inside of that side-by-side battle, and he prevailed.
Pursley now taking a look down to the bottom of the racetrack. We see Eric Holmes there, right, tucked in tight behind him, coming up to try to get a little pressure on Greg Pursley. And how can we talk about the Bullring and not talk about a year ago when Greg Pursley came here and absolutely dominated?
Yeah, led wire to wire. Right now, he's been able to get by Cameron Haley. Cameron up the racetrack. Eric Holmes, Cameron Haley's teammate, now will take over the third spot.
And I'm sure they're saying to Haley, you have got to get back down to the inside, as he's going to lose 2, maybe 3 spots here as the 6 car goes by, and Haley goes from 2nd to 5th in just a blink of an eye.
Yeah, Derek Thorne able to get by in the 6 car. Cameron Haley now be able to get back down to the bottom. Looks like his car won't quite stay down like it needs to.
Good speed shot here, and I think this is one of those things, Phil, where people don't realize just how fast you can get one of these race cars going on a little 3/8 mile racetrack like this.
Yeah, you got a little bit of straightaway here. You see these cars right on the bottom of the racetrack on these high bank corners, but these guys get a little bit of speed up on that on the straightaways.
KWASNIEWSKI, throughout the course of this season, his numbers really spectacular. At a point now where I think you would have to say that this young man, even though he's only 17, right now you would think he may be the favorite for the championship.
Well, he certainly is. We've had 6 races so far, and his worst finish is 4th, including 2 wins. He got credit for a win in Iowa because he was a top finishing West Series driver.
Can you imagine having those kind of numbers at this point? I mean, I know we're only 7 races in, but man, what a great start. That's just phenomenal. Worst finish of the year is 4th.
Yeah, reminiscent of the start that Greg Pursley had last year. Remember, Greg Pursley won 6 of the first 8 races in 2011.
Absolutely, and Pursley now coming up to give a little bit of pressure to his teammate, about a half a car length there. These 2 cars both fielded out of the Gene Price Motorsports stable. And they've put out good equipment throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, Greg Pursley and his team built a brand new race car to come here. You see him move to the inside of KWASNIEWSKI. He's got a nose in there.
Here he goes. He's going to make the move, and Pursley's going to take over the point here at lap 12.
Yeah, Greg Pursley able to get by the local boy, Dylan KWASNIEWSKI, to take over this lead early on.
Fans in the grandstands are all nervous. Dylan KWASNIEWSKI's not the leader at Vegas. That just doesn't seem right. However, his teammate may beg to differ. Greg Pursley comes into this race having led 295 laps at this racetrack. It's the Star Nursery 200. So far this season, 6 races in the K&M Pro Series West, and we've had 5 different winners. So great parity. We're under green right now, but while we were away, there was a spin, and Billy Kahn got her loose coming into turn 2.
Yeah, right in front of our leader, we saw Greg Pursley make his way around Billy Kahn over here in turn 1 and 2.
So Kahn got his Interstate Batteries car back in the right direction. Sometimes it's just about timing. Pursley had good timing there. Did not get caught up in that accident. Just a 1-car spin for our first caution tonight here at Vegas.
You can see the lead that Pursley's opened up now over KWASNIEWSKI, about 6-8 car lengths right now.
And we've got a car, Cassie Gannis, stalled over there. She was trying to get out of the racetrack, I think, Phil, and because she paused there or stalled the car, the officials decided that was not a safe situation. They're going to have to push her out of the way.
Yeah, I think that was a good call there. She's awfully close to the racetrack.
So that'll be caution number 2 tonight here at Las Vegas. See Jack Sellers there at the front of the field. He'll be our lucky dog, and they get the wrecker to push Cassie back to the pits. We'll see if she's able to get that car back into the race tonight.
See the flagman giving the field 1 to go. Remember, double file restarts here in the K&N series. Yeah, Pursley's going to take the inside. That is the preferred line. Big advantage on these restarts to be on the inside.
We'll see if Eric Holmes is able to put any pressure there. His teammate KWASNIEWSKI to the outside. The field will get ready. Cameron Haley now dropped back to 5th. As I said, he started 2nd tonight, but got her a little bit on the outside while the freight train went by, and now he's going to have to try to make up some positions.
Great restart by Greg Pursley. He opens up and jumps up in front of his teammate, and KWASNIEWSKI is able to get in front of Eric Holmes to take over that 2nd spot, or to maintain the 2nd spot, I should say.
You know, Greg Pursley said this is one of those racetracks that just really fits his style. He feels like he just has a rhythm that he has on this racetrack. And obviously, when he led wire to wire last year, nobody was able to put any pressure on him, but just seems like he just has a good feel for it.
Yeah, and he's got a great team, too. That Gene Price Motorsports team, really, for both KWASNIEWSKI and Pursley, is very, very strong. As I mentioned before, they built a brand new car for Greg Pursley to come here, compiled composite body, 110-inch wheelbase, and that gets a 100-pound weight break over some of the steel-bodied 105-inch wheelbase cars.
Would you bring a new car to the short tracks? Isn't that crazy?
You know, this is the absolute most important race of this season, Ray.
Why is that?
Because it's the next one.
Okay, so focus one at a time, right?
And you have to remember that Star Nursery is also a sponsor of Greg Pursley. So
Right.
it's great to see Craig Q here with Star Nursery, and they did a great appearance yesterday. They had about 4 different Star Nursery locations that some of the teams took the haulers and did autograph sessions. So a lot going on here in town.
I would imagine this would be a pretty good race for Pursley to win tonight, wouldn't it?
I think any of them are good races for him to win.
The competition this year, Phil, to me has just been really excellent. I mean, when I look back through the points here, I really believe, even though we've got a lot of racing to go throughout the course of this season, there's still 6 or 7 drivers very legitimately in the points race.
Oh, without a doubt, Eric Holmes hasn't been to victory lane yet this year. We know he's going to get to victory lane. Cameron Haley should open up that door and get to victory lane for his first time in his career. A lot of good teams. Derek Thorn has already won this year. And I've been really impressed with his teammate, the 9 of Austin Dine. Very new to the series, but as I mentioned earlier, top 10 finishes in each race that he's run. Did not run the opening race at Phoenix.
And Michael Self got that big victory at our last road course. That moved him up to 6th in the points. And Jonathan Gomez, a driver that's sort of been in the background a little bit this year. He keeps posting those top 10s. He's running right up there. He just hasn't had the lead or a shot at a victory yet.
Yeah, these guys have been so strong. Greg Pursley, Dylan KWASNIEWSKI have been so strong this year. Derek Thorn, again, another one of the guys we mentioned. Michael Self with that big breakthrough win last time out in Minnesota at Brainerd. But you got to remember now, this is the 3rd race in a row, 3rd week in a row for these guys on 3 completely different racetracks. We had Iowa, which is a 7/8 mile, almost like a mini super speedway for these guys. Then they went to the road course of Brainerd, Minnesota, and now here to the Bullring. So these guys, tongues are hanging out.
And you've got to get a good road course program together this year if you're going to be championship contender.
Oh, without a doubt, we've got 4 road courses on the schedule. As a matter of fact, our next race for the West Series is Sonoma, the big race out there.
And you can follow Greg Pursley on Twitter to keep up with what's going with that 26 race team. He is going to come off turn 4, and as we look backwards, here's a good battle. Derek Thorn going to try to go to the inside of Holmes, and he's got the preferred position.
Yeah, Eric Holmes has had the 3rd spot since the drop of the green flag. Now Derek Thorn's going to get by him. A nice move. Exiting turn number 4, got a little bit of momentum, got to the inside, took over that 3rd spot.
Lots of traffic on this track tonight already. Some of these lap cars, you're going to have to go to the outside a number of different times already.
You know that to make speed, you're going to have to go to the bottom, but to get, caution on the racetrack.
Yellow flag is out.
See Austin Dine involved, that 9 car. We were just talking about him a moment ago. There's Allie Jackson also involved, as well as the 36 of John Wood.
Let's look at the replay here, Phil, because it's kind of hard to make out where the damage is. It may be that Allie Jackson got hit after the spin.
I think John Wood came along after the spin and made some contact with her, but that's brought the red flag out on the racetrack.
So some significant damage for Allie Jackson in that number 73. Greg Pursley is the leader. His teammate KWASNIEWSKI tucked in close behind. We're about a quarter of the way through the Star Nursery 200. Welcome back to Las Vegas. We're at the Bullring tonight. 3 cautions so far in the Star Nursery 200. One of those actually a red flag, but we're ready to go back to racing.
Yeah, Allie Jackson will have to take the long trip back to Northern Ireland.
Her car done for the night after significant damage over there in turn number 4. Back to racing on the high side is KWASNIEWSKI trying to get some grip up there, but so far it just doesn't seem to work. He'll duck back in behind Greg Pursley, and ooh, right up on the bumper came Eric Holmes.
Yeah, very, very important to get back down to the bottom in front of Eric Holmes. We saw Eric Holmes get passed by Derek Thorn. Now Derek Thorn side by side with Holmes again. They had to revert back when the caution came out to the previous lap. That's what put Eric Holmes back in 3rd.
Cameron Haley's car seems to be good in the middle of the racetrack, and guess what? There's no groove there.
Yeah, his car's a little bit better, though, than it was. We saw him early on not be able to get back down to the bottom. Now, after the 50-lap mark, it looks like maybe the racetrack's coming around to him a little bit.
And, Phil, we've got a great battle right here. Michael Self down to the inside in that Rockwell race car. Here goes Mayhew trying to go to the high side to take a look at that, and Dylan Hutchison right up on his bumper.
Yeah, we saw Mayhew started back in the 11th spot, a little bit uncharacteristic for David Mayhew to start that far back, but he's made his way well up into the top 10. Now Havens gets underneath him in the 61 car for position.
A little contact there, Cameron Mayhew's going to get in the backside of that 61, and he slams into the tire barrier at the exit to the pits.
Remember, that's exactly where Cassie Gannis was parked earlier, so you know why now. A lot of contact. Looked like David Mayhew just gets into the left rear quarter panel and turns the 61 of Havens into the outside wall.
I think Mayhew was not happy about the contact coming off 4, and that will result in a lot of damage in that 61 car as we are under caution once again.
We heard from the officials that they were going to actually put David Mayhew at the back of the pack for rough driving, so he will have a lot of ground to make up.
Mayhew has struggled a little bit in qualifying this year, which is somewhat surprising to me. They came out of the box at Phoenix and just looked like they were going to be unbeatable.
Yeah, dominated that race, led every lap. Now I've got a good battle for second. Derek Thorn tries to get to the inside of KWASNIEWSKI. KWASNIEWSKI up the hill a little bit. Thorn's got his nose there.
And we got contact and a lot of side-by-side racing. This is the kind of racing we're used to when we go short track racing in the K&M Pro Series West.
Yeah, KWASNIEWSKI's open up the bottom. Derek Thorn is trying to take that spot. KWASNIEWSKI, though, strong from the top side off of turn number 2.
Look how much the front end of that race car dives down. You'd think we're on 1.5 miles. Boy, these guys really using the throttle and the brake here.
Yeah, that's where we talk about having to use the brakes. Keep those cool as well.
I think Bernadette has a little follow-up on our second place runner, KWASNIEWSKI.
Guys, one of our leaders, the 03 car, Dylan KWASNIEWSKI, has dropped back a little in the field. I went and asked his crew chief if there was anything wrong with the car. He said there wasn't. The car's fine. Dylan's happy with it. He's just getting past on the outside and he's trying to get around the traffic.
Well, right now, KWASNIEWSKI will get stuck on that high side, and Thorn's going to take that position, and he better worry about Eric Holmes because that inside line appears to be the preferred line at this racetrack tonight.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now you see Derek Thorn takes over that second spot. KWASNIEWSKI still up the hill, opens up that bottom for Eric Holmes. Eric's now going to try to take over that third spot.
Haley hanging in right behind, but these two going side by side. KWASNIEWSKI gets it a little bit loose, and he's going to lose that spot. The 20 will go by, and here comes Haley. Oh, boy, I'll tell you, that outside line doesn't appear to be working for that Rockstar Royal Purple race car.
You think that Eric Holmes is good on racetracks less than a half mile? He's made 29 career starts. 25 of those, he's finished in the top 10.
That's pretty good numbers. Cameron Haley now with the pressure. KWASNIEWSKI on the outside. This could be trouble, Phil.
Yeah, Michael Self, now the 21 car, our most recent winner, is closing in on that side-by-side battle.
Looks to me, Phil, like that 03 car just, well, now he's going to get back down to the inside, so maybe that'll be the right spot on the racetrack.
Yeah, he definitely needs to get back to the inside. He's lost 3 positions now, and now he's got to try to figure out a way to get by the 24 of Cameron Haley.
Coming up on the halfway point, we'll have a halftime break. When we come back to Las Vegas, you're watching the Star Nursery 200. Welcome back to Las Vegas. We're at the Bullring. I'm Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons and Bernadette Santacola. While we were away, Daryl Haar's iConnect Chevrolet went up in smoke, and he has gone to the garage. That's why we're under caution, but we're back to green flag racing.
What a great restart once again by Greg PURSLEY. Looked like Derek Thorn was a little bit slow on this restart there, but he is able to get back down to the bottom in that second spot.
And here goes KWASNIEWSKI. He's on the outside again, and many guys trying to take a look down to the inside. It appears like that car just wants to run the high side of the racetrack.
Yeah, but he has been able to get by Cameron Haley to gain one of those spots back. Now Gomez has gotten by Haley as well up into the 5th spot.
Jonathan Gomez advancing, and here goes KWASNIEWSKI to look to the inside of Eric Holmes. Coming up, we're going to have a halftime break here, Phil, and it'll give these guys a chance to make some adjustments. Anything you see on any of these particular race cars you'd want to change?
I know one thing. I wouldn't change anything on that 26 car of PURSLEY. How about KWASNIEWSKI gets to the bottom of Eric Holmes here for the 3rd spot?
Good racing side by side here. 2 laps to go to the halfway, and now we're trying to see what KWASNIEWSKI really has, if he's got anything for the second half of this race tonight. He's been back between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th throughout the night. Now moving back up, going to the inside of Holmes, and he'll retake 3rd.
That's really a critical pass, too, because now that means he will restart after the halftime break on the inside 2nd row.
Oh, good point. Good point. There is Holmes in 4th, Jonathan Gomez in 5th, and Cameron Haley right behind that group, and the caution will be out next time around as we're at a halfway point of tonight's race here on the Bullring.
I think Dylan KWASNIEWSKI has recovered nicely from dropping all the way back to the 5th spot.
And Phil, I do want to say, they told us in the drivers' meeting today that the halfway break would come in or around 100, so we've actually passed lap 100, but we should see that yellow flag here shortly.
Yeah, it'll be just a matter of moments. They want to make sure in the event we were at a racetrack that there was a threat of rain. As you see, the caution does come out now. They want to make sure they get past halfway in the event it rains and not able to drive the track. That's not going to happen out here, I don't think, in Las Vegas.
No, not going to. But anyway, that's a good point. So now we're at the halfway break, and these guys will get an opportunity to adjust their cars as they roll down pit road.
Remember, no tire changes here, just what they would do on a normal pit stop other than change tires. They can adjust air pressure, they can adjust wedge, track bar, and cool off the driver for one thing.
And that's a nice money savings deal. You limit the tires, and that way it makes this thing much more affordable to do.
They also were a little bit concerned maybe these cars would get a little bit close on fuel, so it's an opportunity to dump a little fuel in them.
So far tonight, Greg Pursley has been the standout here in the Star Nursery 200. Let's hear from him.
All right, leading the lap so far is the number 26 car of Greg Pursley, who won here last year. Last year's also series champion. Greg, new car, but no problem so far.
So far, so good. A little bit free there at that first run, but when it takes us about 5-10 laps to get going, the car goes pretty good. So right there at the end, we're trying to save a little stuff here for the next 100 and probably get a few adjustments and see what we can do and stay up here for the next 100.
Greg Pursley in the lead at the halfway mark.
Well, so far tonight, it's been the Gene Price Motorsports race team that's been out front. Pursley, the leader. We'll be back to Vegas right after these messages. Is over. The Star Nursery 200 ready to go back to green flag racing. Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons up in the booth. Bernadette Santacola down trackside as we are ready to get the second half underway for tonight. And I'll tell you, Phil, Greg Pursley has looked like pretty much the way he did a year ago at this track.
Yeah, he certainly did. Dominated that race last year. And one thing I'm really curious to see, Dylan KWASNIEWSKI will restart this race from the third spot. Is he going to be able to get that second spot away from Derek Thorn? Here we go.
Thorn hard on the brakes going into turn number one. He'll go to the high side, but it looks like he's losing grip, and he's going to lose positions at the same time.
Went way up high. Eric Holmes gets by him, as well as now Jonathan Gomez pulls to his inside.
Gomez there, Haley there, being on the outside. We've noticed not working so great, but boy, Thorn doing a good job of holding that spot.
He is. This is going to be his best opportunity to do something when the tires are cold. They did not change tires during the halftime break, but at least the tires cooled off a little bit.
Good battles all the way around this racetrack, and a little contact there is Gomez to the inside of Holmes.
Jonathan Gomez showing a little bit of strength here. Moves to the inside of our three-time champion and gets that spot. How about Derek Thorn now in the middle of three wide?
Oh, that's some good racing right there. Gomez coming way up off of the corner, but keeps it straight. And the other car that I've been really impressed with, Cameron Haley, who now goes to the inside of Holmes. Let's get an update on that number 24.
Guys, we see that number 24 car of Cameron Haley just battling for a leader position. He's such a good driver for only 15 years old. I just talked to his team owner, Bill McAnally, and he said the start of the season has been really tough on Cameron. Being such a young driver, moving from a large oval to a road course to a short track, it's been a real adjustment for him. But it looks like tonight, this is his kind of course. He's doing good.
He certainly is doing well. Able to get by his teammate, Eric Holmes.
He looked, you know, he really impressed me at HAVASU. That was one of the races where I thought, oh, and we've got a big crash here. 3 cars involved coming off of turn number 4.
You see the 14 involved Travis Milburn, Taylor Kuzik in the 42, as well as Mike Haslam, who's making his first start in the 30 car.
It looked like the 42 didn't make any contact with the inside wall, so his car may be okay. Here's a good replay of it, Phil.
You see the 9 of Austin Dine going around the 14 of Milburn. The 42 of Kuzik may have just got up in the loose stuff a little bit. Does a nice job keeping out of the inside wall, as you mentioned.
Doesn't appear that there's too much damage on any of those cars, so hopefully they'll be able to get them righted and back into the race. As we look at our leaderboard there, 113 laps complete. Greg Pursley in that 26, dominant race car tonight. Big question is, well, Gomez has made great move on the racetrack. He's up to third. Can either of those two guys behind him pass Greg Pursley from what you've seen so far tonight?
I haven't seen it so far, but KWASNIEWSKI now needs to restart from the outside, so he needs to get back down on the bottom. It's really difficult to try to wrestle the lead away on the outside, but let's see what he can do now. He's awfully good here.
Hot temperatures tonight and good crowd on hand. We're ready to go back to green. Oh boy, good jump for Pursley. He jumps out in front of his teammate. Behind him, it's 2 by 2.
The key is that he got such a good jump that opened up the bottom for his teammate KWASNIEWSKI. He was able to easily drive back down to the inside.
Here come Gomez. He's going to put a bumper right up in there. Nice move forward for that 22 car so far tonight. And on the outside, there goes Thorn again. Seems like he cannot get that race car down to the inside. KWASNIEWSKI right on the bumper of his teammate. Going to take a look off of 4, but not enough strength that time.
Yeah, KWASNIEWSKI is able to move to the inside. He's able to stick his nose underneath his teammate PURSLEY for just an instant.
Guess who's back in the race? All of a sudden, right in the middle of the pack is David Mayhew, who had to go to the tail on a restart, and he's right back in the thick of it.
Yeah, moved his way back up into the top 10. Now just got by Eric Holmes.
Mayhew in that number 17. The bright orange race car has gone through the field tonight from the back to get back up into contention here. And there you see that 17 back in about 7th position.
You're right behind the 21 of Michael Self. You see the 5 of Dylan Hutchison right behind him. What a great run for Dylan Hutchison. His best career finish is 9th that he got our last time out at Brainerd, Minnesota.
Yep, absolutely. And here comes KWASNIEWSKI now. He's going to start putting some pressure. I got to believe on the radio they're saying to him, don't go too early, but make sure that that leader knows you're there.
Yeah, I think he would love to get by him. In that event, if the caution were to come out, he'd be able to get the inside on that restart. So critical.
Mayhew's got his MMI communications car right down to the bottom. Self on the outside there. Michael Self has been on the high side of this racetrack throughout the night.
Yeah, Dylan Hutchison now the 5 car moves to the bottom of Michael Self to try to take over that spot, and there's Eric Holmes, the 20, right behind them.
Been side-by-side racing pretty much on this racetrack throughout the course of the night. This is the battle for 6, and Hutchison really got her loose.
A little bit of contact with the 21 that time of Michael Self. See David Mayhew able to pull out in front of that battle. Jumps up into the 6th spot.
These guys coming off at turn 4 back down the front straightaway there. Hutchison gets his straightened back out, but I've seen a little bit, might be brake smoke coming out of that 20th. Every time he goes into turn 1, maybe a tire rub.
Yeah, we do use a lot of brake here at this racetrack. We see the speeds down the straightaway in pretty tight corners.
PURSLEY going to go to the outside of Jack Sellers, the driver who has more starts in this series than probably anyone in the history of the world. 290 some.
Yeah. PURSLEY now has opened up 3 or 4 car lengths over his teammate KWASNIEWSKI. See 74 laps to go here.
258 is the real number. Sorry about that, but it is a modern era record.
Probably seems like 290 anyway. They've opened up a good gap over the 3rd place car of Gomez. Just amazing how good that 26 car is for Greg PURSLEY. And that's, you asked earlier that why do you bring a new car to here to this racetrack? Because, well, look at this side-by-side racing here as they try to lap around Jack Sellers.
Haley to the outside. Here goes Thorn trying to look to get some grip coming up off. And he does get a little bit, just enough to edge in front of Cameron Haley.
Yeah, he had the preferred inside line. He's able to get that spot away from Cameron Haley.
I'm worried about Gomez here, Phil, though, because he is sliding.
No cautions on the racetrack, Ray.
Yeah, you're right. Jessica Brunelli has slid her race car off of turn number 4 there, so I don't think there's much damage, but she spun it out, so that will be back under yellow once again.
Jessica had a great top 10 finish earlier this year at Stockton for her career best.
What I started to say about Gomez, what I'm worried about is he's sliding those rear tires coming up off of the corner, and eventually that's not going to pay dividends, I don't think.
And he lost track of the 2 leaders, too. There was a gap between him and Dylan KWASNIEWSKI.
Race number 7 of 2012. It's been pretty interesting. KWASNIEWSKI, the only repeat winner this year. It's been fun to watch the differing forms of racing that we've already been through with road course racing. Started out at the big track in Phoenix. David Mayhew, of course, dominated that race. PURSLEY, the winner on the road course in Tooele, Utah.
Another good restart by Greg PURSLEY. KWASNIEWSKI able to get right behind him now in 2nd, in front of Gomez.
Still seeing that smoke out of the 20, starting to concern me a little bit there. Here we go. He's going to put some pressure on him, and here comes KWASNIEWSKI. He tried to get the nose in there.
Yeah, he thought about trying to stick that nose underneath PURSLEY. Greg got a good bite up off the corner, though.
See, the damage on that 61 car has returned to the racetrack, but no rear bumper. Does still have a spoiler on it, though, so it's okay to continue. PURSLEY with a very, very strong car tonight.
There's that smoke, as you mentioned. That's coming from Eric Holmes' car. Remember, we told temperatures in excess of 90 degrees here. Really tough to keep these cars cool.
And it appears that it's when he goes into the corner down in turn number 1 where we see it the most. He seems to be on the brakes a little bit. There's a little bit of that smoke coming off again.
It looked like a little bit of smoke down the straightaway as well.
A little bit of distance now between Pursley and Dylan KWASNIEWSKI, about a car and a half, and oh, there goes Eric Holmes. He's going to roll down into the pits, so we'll try to diagnose what the problem is as the smoke continues to come out of that Napa Auto Parts car.
Yeah, it's going to take him completely out of contention, though. Would you lap around here at 16-second laps, so it's going to not be a good night for Eric Holmes.
And it doesn't look, Phil, to me like there are any tires down on that 20 car. So as he tries to get that thing to the pits, boy, they're just going to keep putting laps on here, and he's going to be dropping positions like a fly.
Yeah, and this will be the first race of the year with him not finishing in the top 10.
So Holmes slowly gets around. Now he's going to get it to pit road, but again, this could be very costly in the points tonight for the Team 20.
Yeah, he's already at least 2 laps down here and hasn't even got to his pit yet. So I think it's terminal.
3/4 of the way through this race, 58 to go, and out front it has been Greg Pursley. This will shake up the points, no question about it, though, for Eric Holmes.
Yeah, David Mayhew's now still running back in the 6th spot. Comes in here 3rd in points.
And Phil, let's look at some of Greg Pursley's numbers. 61 career series starts, 10 wins, that's 1 out of 6. Those are pretty good numbers. How about 12 career poles, and 1 of those coming this year, and an average finish at this racetrack of 3.5.
That's not too bad. He has this place figured out, that's for sure.
So far tonight in the Star Nursery 200, the grandstand has been full of fans, and they've been cheering on car number 26, Greg Pursley, at the point. Well, we can add another tally to the caution list here tonight at the Bullring. Jessica Brunelli spun while we were in break. No damage to that race car, so she'll be back at the tail of the field. And we're ready to go back to racing. Greg Pursley at the point. His teammate Dylan KWASNIEWSKI once again to the outside. Gomez on the inside of the 2nd row. Right beside him, Cameron Haley.
All important restart here. Greg Pursley's been just perfect on these restarts.
Comes up through the gears, and he has the nose out in front of his teammate, has the preferred line, and once again, KWASNIEWSKI just going to drop right down in behind him.
You see how Pursley is able to drive away from KWASNIEWSKI as they exit turn number 2. His car is so strong with that forward bite off of turn 2.
Still a lot of good side-by-side, though, as we look back through the field. Mayhew on the outside of Hutchison there, and looks like actually they're going to all drop in single file, except leaving the 17 to the outside.
All right, KWASNIEWSKI to the inside of Pursley.
Here we go. Can he do it? He slides the wheels off a little bit coming off of 4, but they are side-by-side, and Pursley gets pushed to the high side of the track.
I'm not sure how Dylan KWASNIEWSKI was able to get to the bottom of Greg Pursley, but he's got his nose in there.
Here he goes. Can he make it stick? It seems like down on the bottom he's not be able to get the grip, but yes, this time, oh, I think Pursley led that lap.
Side by side, maybe too close to call. Look at Gomez. He's trying to figure out which one's going to get the advantage here.
Here goes KWASNIEWSKI down to the inside. This time he'll have his nose out front, and Dylan KWASNIEWSKI takes the lead back in Vegas, and the crowd goes crazy.
The crowd is absolutely on their feet right now, pulling for KWASNIEWSKI, the local boy.
Look how loose Pursley got off of 2 that time, Phil.
He's been so good off of 2. We were just commenting how good he was off of turn 2.
And he gets back down to the bottom of the racetrack. Will he try the slide over move and go to the inside? Well, we did see the number 20 car of Eric Holmes has gone to the pits. Let's go trackside and get an update from Bernadette.
Eric Holmes out of the car, out of the race for the evening. Eric, what happened?
I don't know. Something's been burning in the car ever since we went back green. I don't know what it was, but something's been burning in the fire in there, and whatever it was, it burned up some wiring or something. So not too bad, or not sure, but not the way we needed this for the Napa team tonight. We had a good car in practice. We had a little carburetor issue, so we kind of missed some. So just a struggle all night, and once we got in the race, and I thought I had a car that could win this thing. So.
Well, obviously not going to win it tonight and going to lose a lot of points, and we've got a change for the lead up front and a good battle as these 2 Gene Price Motorsports cars racing hard. Pursley saying, I got to get back, and he's going to, oh, lap traffic. Jack Sellers going to be in the way, but Pursley with his nose in there, Phil.
I don't know if is he going to be able to get underneath Jack Sellers? No, he's got to back off a little bit. Still has his nose there, though.
Oh, and contact. Sellers' rear gets up into Pursley. Hope that didn't get into a tire. That could be a flat tire left rear problem. We've seen that a lot on short tracks.
But look how much ground Greg Pursley lost to Dylan KWASNIEWSKI. You can watch the brake rotors glowing. That's how hard they're using the brakes here entering these corners.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with Jack, who raced him hard down into turn 1. KWASNIEWSKI now with about a 4-car length lead, stretching it out as they come off at turn number 4.
And we're running out of time. We're approaching 25 laps to go, and at 16-second laps, they go by quick.
Yes, they do. And look at the rotors on that number 26. PURSLEY using a lot of brakes.
See, KWASNIEWSKI's rotors are not quite glowing like PURSLEY's are.
That could be a factor here if they get back into lap traffic. Nice speed shot. I just love it. People don't realize just how fast these cars go, even when we're on the short tracks.
Well, these guys are averaging almost 85 miles an hour on this 3/8 mile racetrack.
Down the front straightaway, Jonathan Gomez having a pretty good battle with Derek Thorn. Those guys, Gomez made his move up through the field, and those two race cars have been pretty much nose to tail for the last 100 laps.
And they've lost touch a little bit with our front 2 cars, the Gene Price cars of KWASNIEWSKI and PURSLEY.
Bit of a gap now between first and second. As I said, about a 4-car length differential between KWASNIEWSKI and PURSLEY. I'm wondering, did he heat his tires up too much coming off of that corner? He got pretty sideways when he went around Sellers.
Yeah, I think it was the contact from Sellers that moved him up the racetrack, and that's when he lost that gap he has right now, and he's not been able to recover from that yet.
Derek Thorn putting some pressure on Gomez. This is a battle for third right now.
You can see how much more Derek Thorn's brake rotors are glowing than Jonathan Gomez's are.
Kind of like the differential between KWASNIEWSKI and PURSLEY, too. So we see that as we are just about 20 laps to go here in Las Vegas. We had a halfway break tonight. In the first half of this race, it was pretty much all Greg PURSLEY. And about 20 laps ago, we saw Dylan KWASNIEWSKI make a great move to get the lead.
You know, KWASNIEWSKI has won 4 times in this series, including getting credit for that win at Iowa. And 3 of those times he's been on racetracks less than a half mile, just like this one here at the Bullring. A little bit of smoke from both those cars, it looked like.
But to me, it's the consistency and the numbers that this young man has put up in 2012. Pretty much hard to beat. You know, a couple of seconds, couple of wins in the last 4 races. I mean,
he's got a mirror full of Greg PURSLEY right now. Greg PURSLEY is just about erased that gap that he had just a couple laps ago.
You got to know that Greg PURSLEY has said, this has been my race tonight, buddy. I'm coming back after you.
A great race right now here for 4th. Cameron Haley, the 24 car, has it. David Mayhew, the 17 now, is up in the 5th. Good recovery from him after being black flagged early in the race.
Good, strong numbers throughout the year for the number 17, just not quite as good as KWASNIEWSKI's have been.
Got a battle for the lead here. PURSLEY gets to the inside of KWASNIEWSKI. He makes the pass.
That was a power move as he goes down through 1 and 2, and he will take the lead back.
Oh, the caution's out, though. Michael Self, the 21, is involved, and that will have to give the lead back to KWASNIEWSKI because they will revert back to the previous lap.
You know, we take a look at this replay here. It looks like Haslam maybe is the car that loses it coming off 4, and Michael Self just nowhere to go.
Yeah, I made a lot of contact with him. Tough break for Michael Self, our most recent winner in the series. There's a good view of it. Whoa, hard contact. Look at Cameron Haley and David Mayhew take evasive action.
So we're under a red flag for the 2nd time tonight in the Star Nursery 200. As Michael Self went to the pit area, he dropped a lot of oil, and it's right down in the groove of the racetrack here. So they'll put the kitty litter out and broom that thing up. You think it's dangerous being a driver? Well, how about being our cameraman at the start-finish line? 185 laps are complete. We'll be back with more racing after this. Las Vegas, Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons and Bernadette Santacola bringing you the Star Nursery 200. Greg PURSLEY made a power move down into turn number 1. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to complete that lap before the caution came out, so Dylan KWASNIEWSKI will be credited as our leader once again, and we'll watch this restart very closely.
Yeah, so critical. PURSLEY's been good on the restarts, but that's been from the inside. Let's see what he can do with KWASNIEWSKI now.
Thorn on the outside. His car's been okay up there. They got a tiptoe down through that corner and a little bit of contact between the 2 Gene Price race cars. KWASNIEWSKI down to the inside. Here comes PURSLEY, going to power to the high side.
What a great battle. PURSLEY hanging in there on the outside. Tough sledding on the outside.
Derek Thorn goes high in turn number 1, but here's a battle for the lead. PURSLEY going to get it out front.
How did he do that from the outside? The tough way to do it, and he's got that lead back.
And Hutchison goes high off of turn 4. A bunch of cars slipping and sliding, but not Greg Pursley. He's got it right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Can KWASNIEWSKI get the lead back?
Jonathan Gomez is right there in 3rd. Mayhew now is up to 4th.
That was a great battle between those two guys, and I can't believe that power move that Pursley made. Here goes Thorn down to the inside.
Yeah, he's just trying to get to pit road. You call him going real high. He may have broken.
Well, we'll keep our eye on Derek Thorn, but the battle for the lead has been the great one tonight. We got 4 laps to go here at Las Vegas. Greg Pursley out front of his teammate, and Jonathan Gomez in prime position if these two were to get together.
Tell you right now, Pursley cannot make a mistake. If he does, Dylan KWASNIEWSKI is right there. Pursley hasn't made many mistakes this entire race. He lost the lead to KWASNIEWSKI a number of laps ago, then got it back on the restart.
Saw some smoke coming out of a race car back there for 4th or 5th. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Here comes Mayhew. He's back up into the top 5. He's running 4th right now. Gomez in 3rd, KWASNIEWSKI 2nd. And boy, I'll tell you, Phil, when KWASNIEWSKI had the lead, he looked great. But soon as Pursley jumped back out there, no challenge.
Yeah, I think he was motivated. Greg Pursley had led just about this entire race, and he said, I want that lead back.
And there is the white flag. 1 lap to go for Greg Pursley in the Star Nursery race car. Can he hold on? Can KWASNIEWSKI put on any pressure? It's a 3-car length lead right now, and this one appears to be in the hands of the number 26 team. Off turn number 4, Pursley wins again, back-to-back at Vegas.
What an outstanding drive by both those drivers up in the top 2, as well as Jonathan Gomez with a great 3rd place finish. But Greg Pursley came here on a mission, and he got that lead back on the restart. A hard thing to do.
I thought he might have been scared just a little bit when KWASNIEWSKI got out there, because it appeared that he was not going to be the dominant car. But after that power move, the victory is in the hands of Greg Pursley in the Star Nursery 200. Las Vegas, Nevada may be the hometown for Dylan KWASNIEWSKI, but tonight the accolades go to his teammate. Greg Pursley led wire to wire a year ago, and tonight he's back in victory lane here at the Bullring. Now let's go down trackside and hear from tonight's winner of the Star Nursery 200.
Here, Greg. You did it last year, you did it this year. What a battle, though, to the finish with your teammate.
That was a race, wasn't it? We had a great car. Gene Price Motorsports, all my guys, man. Brought a brand new car here, put the same setup we had in it last year. Jerry Pitts, can't say enough about these guys, man. We had an awesome car, tried to save it enough for first 100. It was pretty good there on a restart. We needed about 10 laps to get going, and then it would go. So Dylan got me there one time. I drove it in a little too hard in turn 3, got me, but man, I wanted this one bad. We got him back, and I can't believe this. We won it for Star Nursery. Star Nursery, Craig's been a long-time supporter of NASCAR. He sponsored this race out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and he helps us out a lot, and we really appreciate it, and we're glad to have him back here. So can't think enough about Star Nursery, Gene Price Motorsports, Ron's Rear Ends, K&N for making this a great series. Real water. Just like thank all the fans out there.
A lot of fans on hand tonight to congratulate Greg Pursley as he and his teammate Dylan KWASNIEWSKI go 1-2 for Gene Price Motorsports.
How about great top 10 finishes for Tim Bell in 6th, Taylor Kuz and Ryan Philpott in 10th. Good job by those guys.
And to me, the comeback of the night has to go to David Mayhew to get back to 4th place finish after being sent to the rear of the field for rough driving. Well, let's hear from our 2nd place finisher, Greg Pursley's teammate, all smiles tonight in Vegas.
Finishing 2nd, the kid from Vegas, you wanted it so bad. What a battle.
Yeah, we were trying our hardest. I mean, the road pit before it was pretty good. We just had rear end troubles and it was bottoming out, but there's nobody more that I would rather lose to than Greg, and it was a fun race at the end. I tried my hardest, but just didn't have it at the end.
So as we take a look at the points tonight, Greg Pursley will gain 5 points on his teammate. 2 big losers, Derek Thorn and Eric Holmes. Thorn down 13, Holmes loses 18, and up to 6th from 7th is Jonathan Gomez.
Here in 3rd place, Jonathan Gomez, you told me earlier you weren't happy with the car. What got you here?
Well, we were hoping the track would cool down a little bit and the car would come in. And I don't think it really cooled down much, but as the fuel burned off, the car just got better and better. The front end finally started hooking up, and we had that brake and put more fuel back into it, and it kind of slowed us back down until the last 50 laps here. And I'm pretty happy with the result. I think we had something for the 03 and the 26. That oil at the end of the race here. Just my line trying to pass the 03 every time I drive under and put me right in that oil, and I'd lose all my traction. But I'm real happy. We're getting closer and closer to our win. Every race is getting better and better. I think for the most part we've lost all the bad luck, I hope.
Third place, the best run of the season for Jonathan Gomez. Our next racing action at Gresham Motorsports. That'll be for the K&N East Series, and Dylan KWASNIEWSKI will be in that race. But all the congratulations tonight go to Greg Pursley. He's the winner in Vegas.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.